What's going on? Johnny here, back with another video. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. We love to have you on this channel. We talk about hitting 100K months in your life insurance agency and then scaling to 100K and then beyond that as well to ultimately $1 million month. And if you're returning it to the channel, love to have you back. Appreciate. We're going to be talking today about assembling your 3-man dream team, because we talked about in the past, how do you actually go from a solo producer to hitting 100K months? And the way you do that is by building your 3-man dream team, right? And I have a different video going over a deep dive into that, but this video is going to be specifically talking about how do you actually assemble these people. And so if you don't know who I am, I help small life insurance agencies just like you double or triple their business in 90 days or less. What we're really talking about in this video is, number one, helpful things to know when you start to build. Number two is what to look for in these agents that come in. Number three is how do you actually get these first 2 agents. Number 4 is setting expectations and over delivering for these people. And then number 5, building a culture that aligns with all incentives. All right. So helpful things to know before you start to build. Always hire sales agents in 2. The reason why you do this is because you want an internal competition feed, like this is capitalism, right? And so we want to, as the owner, as the entrepreneur, as the person who's taking all the risks, you want the internal competition, people fighting against each other and fighting for one spot. So if you have one spot that you're trying to fill, bring 2 people in and have them battling against each other, sale by sale, have them go pound for pound fighting for the spot, because with elevated level of competition, ultimately that's going to be best for you as the owner, because you're going to get people's best performances. So make them compete for that one position. If you're hiring for 2 people, probably hire 4 people at a time and bring these people in so that you can grow and have this healthy competition inside your sales organization. So that's number 1. Number 2, the first agents that you bring in are setting the foundation of how your agency is going to run. These first 2 people, and I'm going to be touching on this a little bit later, but these first 2 people are going to set your culture, are going to set your foundation, that is going to set so much in place for you moving forward. So it's so important to have really good culture fits, have really good talent fits, have really good skill set fits as well. People who actually are skilled, but then also hungry, motivated. And I'm going to go into what that looks like here, but have these first 2 agents. Your goal is not to monetize the heck out of them right away. The goal is to just find people who are coachable, find people who are willing to take a chance on you, and find people who not only are just taking a chance on you, but you're taking a chance on them. And there's a mutual understanding and respect of that and for that, because the most invaluable thing that you can get when you bring these 2 people on is their feedback. And so the feedback to tell you that your product and your processes and the systems that you have in place, what needs to work on and what needs to change, whether that's your onboarding, whether that's your marketing, whether that's your sales process, whether that's your objection handling and overcoming, whether it's a word tracks, whether it's the CRM, whether it's spam likely getting short, whatever that looks like, you need the feedback. And that's so invaluable. So these first 2 people, your goal is not to be like, hey, how can I maximize every dollar of profit on these people? Even if you break even on these people and you just get feedback and you're able to build a system in place with these people, that is going to be worth way more than you can make on them. Even if you made $5,000, even $10,000 per month, and you worked with them for 3 to 6 to 12 months, right? You make 120 grand on them, but the feedback and the systems that they're going to give you is going to be invaluable that you're not able to see because you're the owner. They're agents that are coming in, that are giving you the eyes to see from the ground level. So don't focus on maximizing every dollar of profit on these people. Solely focus on building a system that's going to be long-term and sustainable for hundreds of agents to come. Because if you can build a system out that you could be making $5,000 to $10,000 per month per agent, and you're able to prove that system out, and say it takes 3-6 months, and you take these two people that are super loyal, super bought in, you build goodwill on that, and you build loyalty and you build trust. This is exactly what I did when I built my first 3-man dream team. And what's crazy is 2 years later, they're still with me and still selling. One is actually Max Baker, that he's actually a coach inside our coaching program, which I'll get into here in a little bit. So don't focus on monetizing the most out of these people right away. Just focus on building systems and processes in place. So it's super important to have the culture of team players, especially at the beginning, because you're working out all the kinks and building all of the systems out. You need feedback. You can map out all these scenarios in your head. You can build out the best structure, but the realistic, the thing that you actually need is just feedback, right? And that's what these people are going to be able to give you. And you're able to build realistic expectations, because you as the entrepreneur, the one that's taking the risk, you're probably going to produce at a certain level, right? You're probably at $30, $40, $50,000 per month. If you're not, then just focus on doing the work. We don't talk about that stuff on this channel. You can go back into later videos where I have talked about that, but I don't talk about that anymore. I talk specifically to people doing 30 to 50K a month and wanting to scale to multiple 6 figures per month and into the millions per month. So you only get better by doing it. So you can map out all these things, you can build out all these scenarios, you can have all the risk mitigation, but the reality is you just need to do. So take imperfect action, know that it's not going to be perfect at the start, and that's totally okay. So most likely you're going to keep producing on your own pen while you build your core team, your 3-man dream team. And the reason why I call it the 3-man dream team is because these people are the core of the business that's going to move forward. Because if you build, it's like a wheel, right? You want to build the center of the wheel, and then from there's a lot of spokes that can come through from it, right? But if your core, if your system and your center is not aligned and not all on the same page, then you're not able to build the spokes around it, right? And these people will most likely become your sales managers in the future. These people will be there long term. The 3-man dream team that I assembled 1 to 2 years ago, those people are still with me to this day because of the goodwill, the loyalty, the culture, going through, being in the trenches with these people. It lasts forever, right? And so that's what I'd say. So make it a better deal for them than it is for you. You're getting the feedback, but if you can give them an amazing opportunity, that's what you're trying to do. So let's talk about your first 2 agents and how to actually, what are things to look for in these agents, because you've probably tried to recruit multiple people and they just have not stuck around. I had an agency owner come to me. He did $600,000 last year, and he's like, "Hey, Johnny, I'm stuck. I haven't been able to hit 100K in a month. I've literally recruited probably hundreds of agents, and guess how many stuck around? 0. And you're probably in the same position too, because you're doing it the wrong way. The way that you do it is not recruiting the whole world, is by bringing in 2 really solid people. So what you need to look for is hard work is non-negotiable. I mean, that's just a given. They should be willing to pound the phone, that like dialing the leads. They're sales guys. That's a core function of the business. They're doing nothing else. You want to have them as a core function, just selling. They should just be selling all day, every day. So you want to make it as seamless and easy as possible for them to do that one core function. And I just talked with an agency owner doing over $1 million a month in a free leads model, and they make it so easy, effortless, and so frictionless that they cut out texting their agents from texting. They cut out the agents from even having to manually dial. There's on an auto dialer already. And so the reason why this is important is because if you want to have the core function of this person be sales, make it effortless, make it seamless, make it easy to do, because the things that are hard to do are the manual things that require, like, it's decision fatigue. And so you want to avoid this with these agents. So these agents are specifically salespeople, and that's it. They're not customer support. They're not following up on charges. They're not doing any of that. You should hire that stuff out, and we'll talk about that in a later video. Comment down below if that would be helpful for you. So in these 2 agents, hard work is non-negotiable. They got to be willing to hammer the phone 300 to 500 dials a day minimum. If they're on an auto dialer, 800 to 1,000 dials minimum. Dialing age leads, they don't have the room to negotiate this part. This is something for you as the agency owner. Age leads are going to be your friend. It's old gold, right? As long as you're compliant, as long as these people are on the do not call list, continue to call them. They either buy or they die. So make sure you're hammering the phone. Another thing and a character trait you want to look for is that they're humble and willing to receive feedback. I cannot tell you enough. This is part of the culture fit, right? They might be a talent fit, fit. But if they're toxic for the culture, cut them. You have to get rid of them immediately, because what they're going to do to the culture, what they're going to do to the systems, if they're trying to change consistent stuff, you have to deal with that. And if they're not willing to deal with it, you have to cut it, because it's not worth ruining your whole culture. There's a saying, Alex Hormozi talks about this a lot. If you can have 8 players all rowing in the same direction, you're able to go way farther. But if you have 8 players in the same boat but rowing in different directions, you're just going to go nowhere. And so ultimately, like, that's going to be on you as the business owner, because you're holding the risk here. Young, without a lot of responsibilities yet, this is something that we look for heavily in the agency that I run internally, is having a young person that's very coachable, doesn't have a ton of responsibilities, doesn't have a lot of overhead, maybe $1,000 to $3,000 per month max to cover all their bills. Those are really solid people, because they don't need a lot. And then making $5,000 to $10,000 is insanely valuable to them. Even $10,000 per month is awesome. If you can make on-track earnings to be $8,000 to $12,000, $8,000 to $15,000, $7,000 to $12,000 per month in profit to them in commissions, that's going to be a game changer. And you're going to build loyalty, you're going to build goodwill, you're just going to have a really good team of killers. And the crazy thing is when you have really good A players, you don't need to have a lot of them. You can have 3 to 5 to 10 even. My goal is to have 20 to 30 really solid A players, and that will net me $300 to $500K a month if I do it right. So you can do this right and do this properly if you have the right systems and processes in place. Another thing is agents who maybe have been close to succeeding, but either had a bad opportunity in the past or didn't have the right processes, leads, mentorship to win before. This is very different from somebody else, and I will talk about this here in a second, but this is very different from somebody that has been with multiple different IMOs. They've always blamed outside sources. These are people that you want to stay away from. They're cancer to the organization. Get away from them. Don't contract them. Don't waste your time with them, because you're not going to take a D or C player that has been selling insurance for 10 years but never hit 10K. That person, the likelihood of them actually hitting 10K is probably never, because life insurance is a sale that it is an industry that you should be able to hit 10K within your first 1 to 2, maybe even 3 years. But if you haven't, there's probably a characteristic or a trait that's not good there, and it's going to be hard to overcome that. That's why younger people are really good, because they're moldable and coachable. Well, we have a guy on our team right now. He's 19 when he came into the organization. Now he's 20. He sold insurance before, but he was really hungry and eager for the opportunity. And so this guy, we're able to mold him and train him into a media buyer, into a sales manager. We're able to train him into a bunch of different functions in the business, because he's coachable and he's willing to learn, and he takes the knowledge that I'm giving him and my team's giving him, he's taking it to the next level, right? My media buyer, Elijah, that's inside my business partner, he's training him on a day-to-day basis to look at ad accounts and clients inside my coaching program, looking at their ad accounts every single day. And so the knowledge, the expertise, what he has seen is far more valuable than what we could even pay him. And he thanks me every single day, because he's able to learn and just be able to grow, and he's able to get a part of a winning environment. So that's something that you want to look for. Another thing, somebody looking to make uncapped income but don't want to take the risk of trying everything on their own. This is going to be more so for like an employee type mindset, but like an entrepreneur. This is an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur. They're not like wanting to take all the risk, but they're willing to work hard. They're willing to have sleepless nights for the business. They're wanting to be part of the growth in the business and the organization, and you need those entrepreneurs. Lastly, something to really take into consideration when you're looking for these agents is having extreme ownership. Like, they got to be taking extreme ownership in their business so that they can take it to the next level, right? In your business as well. Things to avoid: part-time agents, 3 to 5 hours a week. Don't work, don't do it. We had a guy, Matt Kurtzman, do 160K his first 4 months as a part-time agent, doing 2 to 3 days a week. That's not normal. That's abnormal result. So it definitely can happen, but it's very rare. And the likelihood, like for this specific person, for your 3-man dream team, you don't want a part-time commitment. You want a full-time, wholehearted commitment inside. Another thing is agents sold on the dream of recruiting the world. So think of 3-letter IMOs. Some are good, some are bad, that I would kind of avoid and stay away from. But if they're wanting to join the team so that they can recruit a bunch, and that's how they're going to do it, and they have this facade and they have this thought process that they're not going to have to work a lot, and they could just kind of sit back on the beach and just relax and chill and do their thing and not actually have to put in time, energy and effort to work, then it's not going to be the right fit for you. Maybe it is, but from my experience, this is not what I've seen, especially in this. They got to be drinking the Kool-Aid of solo production, personal production. Maybe they've gone down the MLM route and they've gone down the recruiting route and they're tired of it. That's a great person that could be part of this. Maybe somebody that's burnt in the past in some other opportunity. Those are always really good people as well, because they know what they don't want, but they also know what they do want because of that. And they've been through the scars and they're going to be more loyal. They just want an opportunity. And the reality is, if you can provide somebody with a good way to make 6 figures per year, most people are not even touching that. Most people are breaking even, going in debt, or making 20 to 30K a year. So if you can get it to the point where they're making 30, 40, 50, or the 100K, 200K, 300K a year, you're going to be sitting pretty and you're going to get rich. That's for sure. Last thing is tire kickers that have been place to place, never sold policies. Avoid these like the plague for sure. I wanted to take a quick second. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, Life Insurance Telesales Mastery Community, the link is in the description. Join there. I'm going to have a full course breakdown going over exactly how you can scale from a solo producer at 50 to 60K a month all the way to 300K a month and then beyond. I have a free training in there for you, and then I'm building out a course inside there as well. And then also getting around other people, getting around me and my team, my media buyer, all for free. Things that we have our Inner Circle program. It's not going to be like it's the light version. We have our Inner Circle program. Link is in the description for that as well, where we have monsters in there, $1 million a month agencies that are coming to us wanting to go to the next level in their marketing. People spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 per day, like the real serious players that are investing in themselves, investing in their business. That's where you'll find them. And that's ultimately a way that you can level up. So if you want to join the Inner Circle program, link is in the description, or DM me on Instagram. My DMs are always open. All right, so let's talk about how do you actually get your first 2 agents. Number 1, there's 4 different key functions, and I took this from Alex Hormozi's The Core 4. There's going to be like referrals, friends, family. There's going to be cold outreach, paid ads, and content. And I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to really share what is going to be best for this specific person and then at scale. So referrals, past agents, this is the best place to start with. Like past agents, sidelines, downlines. The people that I first originally built my 3-man dream team with were one agent that I've recruited in the past. He didn't have the best opportunity, didn't have a lot of capital for leads, but he was willing to do anything and everything. He showed up every day. I didn't have to ask him. That's what we did. And he was happy, right? I was able to give him, called 3 leads, and boom, he just ripped and hit 20K his first month. So that's number 1. Another one was a sideline from an agency in the past that I've had. We became friends, we became partners, and he was like, hey, looking for an opportunity, and we connected there. So that's the best way to do it. Referrals 100%. Just think through the people who haven't seen success in the business. Reach out. All you need is 2 of them to say yes. Another one is cold outreach. So you can cold email blast, cold DM. You want somebody that actually trusts you, because if there's not trust, you're fighting an uphill battle there. That's not going to be best for the relationship. You want to start the working relationship on really good terms on that. And number 3 is paid ads. So Facebook, YouTube, social media, job boards, so on and so forth. That could work as well. I've run that. The only thing is that the trust isn't there as much. So that's something that you have to consider and be aware of. And the 4th is content, building in your personal brand. That's something that I've gotten the best recruits, the best hires, the best people inside my coaching program is building a personal brand. So don't sleep building your personal brand in 2025. I'm going to be making a whole video on like how much of an asset that is and how to create, like make your YouTube channel and social media platforms like an asset for you that prints money in your sleep. And that's a 7-figure, 8-figure skill that you'll have. And it's like retirement. Content, it takes time and strategy in the long game, but it's best for long-term growth. It could definitely happen right away. One of the guys that came in, I've had multiple people, 100,000s a month, millions a month, reach out to me via DM. I had a guy that's doing like 10 million a month a few days ago that reached out and was like, hey, I need some help with marketing. I was like, I can't help you specifically for what you're looking for, because he was looking for inbound calls, like hundreds a day, and we don't do that. But that's something that, because of personal brand, you never know who's listening and watching, so you reach out. So to start, you just need 2 people, and even if you're not going to recruit right away from your personal brand, start creating content, start documenting your journey. This video is not for that, but that's something I can go into. If you want it, comment down below. So setting expectations and over delivering for these people. What I mean is the goal is to get feedback from these people, but you want to over deliver. You want to over handhold. You want to give them your personal number. You want to Like every single question that they have, you answer. You're there for them. You're accountable to them. You're giving them bonuses. You're giving them extra lead. Like you're over delivering on the opportunity for them because you just want good will, because they're actually doing you something really solid. And a lot of times they don't know it, but they are doing you something really solid. So make sure that you're setting expectations properly, that you're actually getting on Zoom every single day. Like that's something as far as building culture that is really helpful, is having a Slack chat every single day that you're posting your wins, or a group chat that you're posting wins, that you're leading from the front. That's another thing. As a leader, it's so important, especially in this phase when you're getting to those 100K months with 3 guys. I mean, your average agent is doing like over 30K a month if you guys do 100K with 3 people. And that's really solid. That's really healthy. People are making money. They're going to stay long term. And so leading from the front, making sure that they're getting proper lead flow, making sure their CRM is taken care of, their Wave or Kixie dialer is taken care of. You're making sure that they really feel safe with you, comfortable with you, that they're getting pushed. Another thing as far as culture building and over delivering for these people is making sure that you're giving them the sales training, making sure that they actually feel like they're making progress. Their sales training and objection handling is getting better. They can actually see that. They're tracking their numbers. They're becoming a better business owner. You're training them every single day. So what I'd do is we'd get on Zoom. I'd be calling. If they got somebody on, like they'd be sitting with me on Zoom. If they got somebody on the phone, I'd stop my dialing. I'd literally speak to them through the phone, through Zoom, on what to say and help to coach them through, type in the chat and helping them what to do, having them share their screen, walking them through how to get through these applications, hand-holding to the max and helping them get up to speed, helping them become your first case studies, testimonials. I was listening to a podcast and somebody was like, hey, if you have somebody making $1 million a year in your sales organization and it's like nearly impossible to do, but somebody's doing it, the hope that somebody has and the opportunity that somebody has to be able to do that, they'll fight tooth and nail. They'll do way more than typical. And so you want to have these rising stars. You want to have the golden childs. You want to have the people who are just out there just shining bright, right? And these people come when they're A players and you just help point them in the right direction. That's, again, setting expectations, making sure that, hey, we're role playing every single day at this time. You're going to get this many leads, and you want to make a clear path for them. Hey, you need to be calling within 5 minutes and making sure that that's tracked, making sure that they're held accountable to that. If not, figuring out a plan to be able to make sure that they're hitting these KPIs specifically. Even if they're not, they need to get on a plan to be an improvement plan. Hey, what's going on? What do we need to fix? How can we help support you? And within 2 weeks, if they're not performing, cut them and move on. Slow to fire, fast to fire, or slow to hire, fast to fire. Yeah. So set expectations, over deliver with these people. Building culture, in-person events, in real life is the best. We're having our first team event here in Arizona, which I'm super excited about. I'm bringing in and flying in my whole team, and we're going to be we rented an Airbnb. We're just hanging out, having a good time, strategizing, masterminding, thinking about how 2025 is going to be an amazing year. So do incentive trips, do bonuses, make sure that these people are taken care of, build the culture, praise publicly, criticize privately, right? So if you're seeing something, pull them aside and give them feedback. But if they're doing something really well, praise in the group chat, making sure that they're posting wins, posting sales, end of day reports. That's another thing, is making sure that they're posting their dials, contacts, presentations, sales, and AP every single day. That's non-negotiable. That's your exit ticket out. If they're doing all these things, you're going to be really prepped to assemble your 3-man dream team. So if you love this video, I encourage you, watch all the other videos that I have. I have tons of other videos on this channel helping you hit 100K months in life insurance. It's not crazy complicated. If you want my personal help, DM me on Instagram, or the link is in the description. Book a call with me and my team. Let's see if we're a fit to work together. And I want to help you out, grow this thing. If you're not ready for that, it's all good. Get value from this. Join the Facebook group, and I'll see you guys inside.